A very good morning to all the students of class 11th and class 12th political science. And students, welcome back to the online classes here. But today, before moving to our further topic of our chapter, I would like to take this opportunity and tell you something important relating to COVID-19. Okay, so certain important instructions have been given to you from the very beginning of this session, and from time to time we have been revising these instructions in the videos as well as in your homework portal and your worksheets. But still, I think because of this festive seasons and so many marriages and in the markets you can see there is so much of a rush, we have stopped taking those precautions very seriously now. It's not about you only, it's about us also and everyone around us. We can see in the society how people have started neglecting those important instructions which are very important to fight against this COVID-19. So I will again try to just remind you those basic and important instructions which you have to follow now onwards again. So like wearing masks, follow physical distancing, that is social distancing, maintain hand hygiene, and you know this very well, but we are not following them. Like wearing mask, how do we wear mask? We are not covering our mouth and nose properly even. So these are some of the important. We are not following social distancing, we are not maintaining our hand hygiene, and these three things are very important. These are the most important three elements, I would say, if you have to fight against COVID-19. So you have to follow these. So this I am also telling you certain important other instructions which you already know. Wear mask properly. Okay, this is the instruction, you know, wear mask, but you have to wear it properly. You don't have to just wear it for the sake that okay you have to wear it. No, this is for your precaution, this for your protection. So wear it properly, cover your nose and mouth properly. Stay at least 6 feet from others. So in the markets you can see these days there is so much of congestion and people are gathered at one place in the marriage functions and in the markets. So you have to maintain 6 feet distance from the other people. Okay, wash your hand frequently, always with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Whenever you are coming from outside or you are coming in contact with anything which is outside your home, you must wash your hands properly for at least 20 seconds with soap or hand wash. Okay, remember to not touch your face. Okay, when you are outside, it happens you are touching many things, you are traveling, you are going to the shops, you are holding various articles, but after that you don't have to touch your face. Okay, you will be using your sanitizer also to sanitize your hands from time to time, but still after that also you don't have to touch your nose, your eyes, your mouth. And so avoid touching your face when you are outside. You have to, once you have to come back, you have to wash your hands. Okay, and do not share food or drinks with others. This is the most important. When you are going to schools even, or you are going outside, you are traveling to your neighbor's place or your relatives, try to avoid having or sharing foods and drinks with the other people, because at this time period now people have started neglecting and the cases are going higher and higher with each passing day. So you have to take precautions once again, and this is the appropriate behavior which is required to fight against COVID-19. So I hope you will be following these instructions, and along with us, it is all we also have to follow all these instructions properly. Thank you. A very good morning to all the students of class 11th political science. And students, welcome back to the online classes here. As we were doing our second book, that is political theory, and in the last video I had finished up with the third chapter that was on equality. So we had seen the basic and important concept of equality and the reasons and its significance, that why we are reading this particular concept under this book, that is political theory. So the next important concept which we will try, and we'll see all the important dimensions of this topic, that is social justice. But apart from just social, we have to focus on this word, that is justice. So we'll try and cover this topic, that is are the meaning of justice and the important dimensions of justice, and what is the significance of justice. And we will also try to do this topic according to the new revised syllabus. So if you will go through your new revised syllabus, you will find that this social justice, this name has been replaced with the name that is justice. That is the new name of your chapter for this particular session, is only justice. Social word has been removed from your chapter's name. So we will mostly focus on the topic, that is justice, and the topics which have been given and which we have to cover here are: what do we understand by justice? Second, different dimensions of justice. Under that we'll see what are the important subpoints which we have to study under these dimensions of justice. And the last topic would be distributive justice. So as your 30% syllabus has been reduced, and that is the reason that we will be only studying three important topics in relations to this chapter, that is justice, I would say, not social justice. New name is justice here. So, we are going to start this chapter with the topic what is justice. In this, we'll try to understand what is the importance and significance of this word justice, and this has been prevalent and important from the very ancient time throughout the world. If we see various, we'll try and find various cultures, various countries, various places around the world, and its relevance with this word that is justice. So I would say this word justice, this is not a new concept which we are studying under this political theory. This is a very old concept, although its meaning, relevance and significance and concept has been different in different parts of the world and different cultures, but basic structure I would say is almost the same, which is prevalent even today in our society. So we'll try to understand that what is justice. And as I told you, you have to remember this is not a new concept at all. It is prevalent from the very ancient times. Okay, and we'll cover that in this particular topic. So first of all, we are starting what do we understand by justice. So directly coming to the current scenario of justice and how it is functioning and what is the status of justice in our constitution, in our current societies, we'll see the background of this concept that is justice from the very ancient times. All cultures and traditions have grappled with question of justice, though although they may have interpreted the concept in different ways. So same thing has been told here. All cultures, different places around the world, various traditions, various group of people, they have grappled with question of justice. So they are very closely related and connected to this word that is justice, although they all are connected to the same concept that is justice, but they may be chances that they have interpreted the concept in different ways. So the way we have interpreted, the way we have understood, the way we have implemented various provisions or to implement justice in our society in the past also, there may be differences in the interpretation of this concept, but this has been prevalent from the very old age time. Okay, for instance, for example, they are taking in ancient India. So we are talking this justice in context to Indian society. If I say justice was associated with dharma, and maintaining dharma or a just social order was considered to be a primary duty of kings. So as you must have seen many movies, documentaries, and many serials also, many books also, stories you have read, where we see there is a king and the whole kingdom is controlled and ruled by the powers and functioning of the king. But this king also knew the importance of justice, and to provide justice to all the people, to its citizens, was the primary duty of any king in the past ancient times. So when we study about Indian society, we study about so many kingdoms, so many important famous kings. So this was to provide justice to all the citizens, and treating all the citizens equally was considered as the dharma of the king. Here dharma doesn't mean religion, as in the current scenario we understand the meaning of dharma as religion. So in the past I would say that dharma, that is justifying, making just society, providing just atmosphere for each and everyone, was the dharma of any king in the Indian society. So I'm reading this again. In ancient Indian society, justice was, when we talked about justice in the Indian society, ancient Indian society, it was associated with dharma. So whenever we talked about justice in the Indian society, it was associated with dharma, and this dharma is related to justice and providing just society and maintaining dharma or just social order. This dharma we can also say just social order. This just means a social order, a society, a system based on truth. Okay, there are no inequalities, no differences between the people. So the conclusion of this particular thing is that in the Indian ancient societies also, it was the responsibility, and I would say it was the function of every moral duty of all the kings to provide just social order, just society where all the peoples were provided justice. In Hindi you can also understand the meaning of social justice means samajik nyay, and the meaning of justice, only the word justice is nyay. So everyone got the justice nyay through the king. So it was the dharma of any king in the ancient time, if I talk about India. So this was the example when I talked about Indian society. So now the next example has been taken from China. In China, Confucius, his other scholar, the famous philosopher, also argued that kings should maintain justice by punishing wrongdoers and rewarding the virtuous. Now there is a suggestion and the concept of given by the Confucius, who was one of the important famous philosopher of China. And according to him, he says the justice should be maintained by any king in such a way where the king punishes all the wrongdoers who are against the social laws, against the moral duties of as a citizen. All those people should be punished as they are the wrongdoers, and people who are following the correct moral values, who are we would say honest towards their duties and rights and duties, they should be awarded as virtuous, they should be praised. So this is the difference and the method given by this philosopher of China, that is Confucius. He suggests that the functioning of a king and to maintain justice in his kingdom, in his territory, should be done in such a way where punishment is given to all the wrongdoers, and rewards are given to all the virtuous and the people who are into good habits on the right path of humanity. So these are the two differences. So as I told you, justice is not a new term at all. This has been prevalent in the societies around the world, in the various cultures from the ancient period. So we have taken the example from Indian ancient societies where when there were the king, what was their dharma. Then we have taken the example of China's famous philosopher, what was his ideas in relation to the justice. And we have also said that this is not a new concept, although there has been different interpretation of this concept of justice around the world, but the basic structures remain the same, to provide and maintain and establish a just society. Now moving forward, another next example is in 4th century BC. Okay, so this is a very ancient time, way back. There was a place Athens, now we call it as Greece. So there we are taking the example from Greece, and this is a famous personality, as you must have read it many times, Plato, discuss issues of justice. So in the 4th century in Greece, Plato discussed issues of justice in his book The Republic. So there can be a one mark question here also, that who has written the book The Republic. So you will have to write Plato, or the question can be the other way around, that which is a famous book in relation to justice which has been written by Plato. So you will have to write the name, that is The Republic. So there is a book written by Plato in relation to justice, in which he has explained his ideas and his views when we talk about justice in the 4th century, as it's written. This book is in relation to 4th century time period. Although through a long dialogue between Socrates and his young friends. So this book is not a content based book. This is a simple book based on the dialogues, like we read the plays, we read the different books based on the dramas played on the stage. In the same way, Plato has described this concept of justice in the form of dialogues, where Socrates is a very a person who has a lot of wisdom and knowledge, and he is a very experienced person. So Plato has described his book on justice through a discussion and dialogue going between Socrates and his young friends. So I hope you can understand the drama which he has created to explain the justice. He has, in the way of dialogues, he has created a scene where Socrates is sitting along with his young friends, and they are discussing their different ideas and different views on the ideas of justice. So Glucon, a young friend of Socrates, and Edemonotus, these two are the friends of Socrates. So Plato examined why we should be concerned about justice. So in this conversation between Socrates and his two young friends, that is Glucon and Edemonotus, here Plato has tried to examine that why we should be so concerned and why we should be talking about the concept of justice. So the young people asked Socrates. So he, through the dialogues in his book, he has shown that the young people, that is Gulcon and Edemintus, they are asking Socrates, why should we be just? Just, I mean, I have told you, based on truth and honesty. हम को हमेशा why should we follow the just method, the truth, the right patterns in the society? Why we should not follow the wrong path? Okay, they observed that people who were unjust, because these two young friends of Socrates, they have observed in the society that people who are unjust seem to be much better off than those who are just. People who are breaking the laws, who are not having any moral values, who are cheating people for their own benefits, they are living a better life in the society as compared who are people who are honest, who are hardworking, so who have good moral values, who think for their nation, for their society. So these people are suffering, but on the other hand, who people are those people who are unjust, they are living a very good life. So they think, these two, they ask Socrates then, that why should we be just if such people are having a good lifestyle? Those who twisted rules, so those people who have twisted, broken, made violations of various rules in the society to serve their interest, avoided paying tax, they do not pay tax, were willing to lie, they always lie for their own benefits, and were often more successful. They are more successful in the society in comparison to the people who are truthful, in comparison to the people who are truthful and just. So there has been shown a distinction between the two set of people, one who are unjust and the other set of people who are just. So in the society, what these people see, that people who are unjust, they are having a good time. On the other hand, who are people who are just, who are very truth, who are following the right values of the society, they are suffering. So the question has been put forward to Socrates, then why should we always be just and truth? If one were smart enough, that's why they have put forward, if one was smart enough to avoid being caught, then it would seem that being unjust is better than being just. So they are saying, if someone is so smart, so intelligent, where he can lie properly, he can go against the law, and if he is not caught, he can live a better life as compared to the people who are truth and following the right moral values. You may have heard people expressing similar. Even today, we follow the similar type of conversations and sentiments. Even in the news channels, you will see where we focus that people who are unrealistic, they are using the facts and taking advantage of the opportunities for their own motives to gain their own interest. They are more benefited in the society these days. So this is the question put forward by these two young friends of Socrates to Socrates. Now we'll see how this question has been answered and interpreted by Socrates, so that his two friends are able to understand the meaning and basic concept of justice. So here is the answer of Socrates to this basic important question, and if we see practically see, it was correct in the 4th century. Socrates reminds these young people that if everyone were to be unjust, if Socrates now says, if everyone was following the wrong path, wrong ways to get to achieve their aims and goals in their life, if everyone was unjust, they did not work hard, they cheated people, they took advantage of the other people and situation, if everyone did such activities, if everyone manipulated rules, broke, violated the rules just to gain their interest, no one could be sure of benefiting from injustice. In this case, in the long term, no one could be sure of benefiting from injustice. Today we are doing injustice, but we in the future we can also be the victim, where we will be a victim as a injustice. Today we are doing injustice to someone. In the future, if this continues, someone will do injustice to us also. So if this continues, there will be no benefit for any person in the society. So nobody would be secure, so no one will be secure. Okay, if I am doing injustice, it means others can also do injustice to me in any way. So in this way, nobody will be secure. This was likely to harm all of them. So in the long run, in the society, we'll see everyone will be harmed by such activities if we all follow the path of unjust activities. So if you follow the path of justice or the just method, or to live in the society, so we may not be benefited, but we may not be harmed even. We can live a pure lifestyle as a human being. Okay, so he's showing the negative side if we follow the unjust lifestyle, which looks easy, but in the long run, it would be very dangerous for the human society. Hence, it is our own long-term interest to obey the laws. So it would always be better that we should follow the laws and be just. So that is why we find so much of laws, provisions and articles to protect the laws and to protect unjust activities in the society. Further he clarified, Socrates, to its friends, that we need to understand clearly what justice means in order to figure out why it is important to be just. First of all, we must understand the correct meaning and the concept of justice in a way where we can understand why it is important to live in a lifestyle where we are just. He explained that justice does not only mean doing good to our friends and harm our enemies. If I talk about justice, it does not mean that I am only talking about my friends or my relatives, and I am not worried about the enemies or the other people who are not connected towards me. So if I correctly and truly know the meaning of justice, it means justice involves the well-being of all people. You have to underline this line. Justice involves the well-being of all the people. So when I'm talking about justice, it does not mean that I'm talking about a certain group of people or certain group of friends. It means when I'm talking about justice and a just way of living a life in a society, it means I am talking about the well-being of all the people, talking about the humanity. As a human, I am talking about the humanity. It's not only benefiting a few people who are in close relations and connections to me. Okay, so this is an important line. Justice involves the well-being of all people, and this is important. For example, they have taken example here. Just as a doctor, you have seen, for example, they have taken the example of doctor, or you can also take the example of any profession, teacher or any officer, or we can also take the example of a government. If our doctor, for suppose, is concerned with well-being of his patients, so is as a moral responsibility of a doctor, he is not only worried about the people who are into his close relations or his only friends. He will take care of the only patients whom he knows, but it is a moral values and moral duties of all the doctors that they take proper care and concern of all the any person who is a patient, maybe a male or a female. Similarly, the just rulers or the just government must be concerned with all well-being of the people. In the same way, a just government, that is a correct government based on truth, should be a government which is concerned about well-being of all the people. Policies and plans are made in such a way so that everyone is benefited by such policies, not only a certain group of people, not only the elite people, not only people relating to certain caste or religion. So the policies and plans should be put forward, implemented in such a way where all the people are being implemented or benefited equally. So that is why this example has been given under the topic, that is justice involves the well-being of all the people. So where, according to government, when we are talking about the justice as according to the government, it means that we are benefiting each and every citizen. We are considering each and every person of our society who is living within our territory. So ensuring the well-being of the people includes giving each person his due. So when I'm talking well-being of the people, this includes giving each person his due. What is his requirement? What does he, when we talk about its dignity, respect, opportunities to grow its talents and skills. So providing them such atmosphere is the well-being of persons, including giving each person his due. So before I move it forward with this chapter, as we were discussing here, that there was a discussion going between Socrates and his friends in the book, that is Republic, I told you, by Plato. So in this book there is a conversation, there is a part taken from the book itself, that is a discussion between Glaucon, a friend of Socrates. So Glaucon is talking to Socrates in the book, that is the Republic by Plato, as I told you, okay? By Plato. So this is a book by Plato. In this book they have taken a paragraph from here. So Glaucon is talking to Socrates. They say, so Glaucon is saying, they say that to do injustice is by nature good. If we are doing injustice to anyone, by nature we'll feel good because we'll be benefited quickly by it. If we are cheating someone, we are breaking the laws, okay, so we'll be benefited for a short period of time to suffer injustice. But on the same way, in future, if we suffer injustice, first we are doing injustice to someone, but on the other hand, in the future we'll face injustice done by us. So when we do injustice to other, we feel good, but in the same way, same activity, same injustice is done to us, then we feel like a evil, that something evil has happened with us, but that the evil is greater than the good, and at that time we feel that this evil is greater than the good. When we cheated someone, we felt good, but this is the more worst feeling when someone cheats us. Okay, and so when men have both done, and when a same person has done both the activities, where he has done injustice to someone, and whereas he has been a victim of injustice in the other story, and so when men has both done and suffered injustice and have had experience of both, so when the any particular person has experience of both, not being able to avoid the one and obtain the other, they think they had better agreed upon themselves to have neither. So when they try and understand that doing injustice would lead them nowhere, it is wrong practice, it is like a evil to have injustice and to cheat anyone. That is why in a society we see there arise laws. That is why just when human understood, when we can do injustice to someone, someone can be do injustice to us also, and this will not benefit anyone. There will be no there will be harm for all the society. So that is why we saw the concept of coming of laws and rules in the society, mutual convents, and that which is ordained by the law is termed as the lawful just. So I hope you have understood this particular paragraph, which has been taken from the book of Plato, that is the Republic. So now the moving forward, the idea that, so here we are trying to understand the basic concept of justice, as it is a very old concept from the very ancient time. We have seen the various examples of India, China, and we have also seen example from the book that is the Republic by Plato, and the dialogues between Socrates and his friends. Okay, so basically we are trying to understand the basic concept of justice here. So the idea that justice involves giving each person his due continues to be an important part of our present day understanding of justice. So in the present day also, if you will try to understand what do we mean by justice, it means we are giving that person his dues, whatever he is had the authority, or he is authorized to have those things with him. However, our understanding of what is due to a person has changed from time of Plato. So what the requirement of the people was there during the time of Plato, now this has changed now. Today our understanding of what is just. So if I ask you today that what is a just society, or what is the justice, if I talk about how the individual can be called as he is having the justice, we can say is closely linked to our understanding of what is due to each person. So we'll have to make our understanding that what is due to each person as a human being. As a human being, what type of opportunities he should be having, what type of treatment he should be getting in the society. That will conclude the idea of justice in the current scenario. According to German philosopher Immanuel Kant, According to the German philosopher Immanuel Kant, human beings possess dignity. Every human being has a dignity, self-respect. If all people are granted dignity, and according to him, if every person gets the dignity, respect, self-respect, as he should have or she should have, what is due to each of them is that they have the opportunity. It means if we are providing equal dignity, respect, self-respect to each human being, it means we are giving them the equal opportunities to develop their talents. So if every individual is getting the opportunities to develop their talents and skills and pursue their challenges, chosen goals, and whatever the aims and goals and objectives they have, if they are able to pursue them, it means they are living in a justified society, a just society. Justice requires that we give due equal consideration to all individuals. So according to him, justice requires that every individual is given equal consideration, okay, to all individuals. With this we come to this end of this topic. In the next video we shall take the next topic of this chapter. Till then, thank you, take care.